Right, we are live, guys. Hello! I don't know if this is the second time you guys have seen me or whether I think I went live accidentally by accident and then the video came on, but I don't know. Let me know if you can all see and hear me okay. Welcome back to the Blether. It's been ages. How have you all been? Yeah, really excited to be back. Oh, we are live. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So nice to see so many of you on already. We've got some familiar faces. Evening to you all. Let's have a quick look to see who we've got. You'll see we haven't got Mike with us just quite yet, but he's going to be jumping on soon. We have got Tim, nice to see you, and Ray, that's a lot of R's and A's, Ray, Wraith, I don't know, nice to see you. Scott, we have got, we've got Mike appearing in a second. We've got Peathead, we've got Callum. Lovely to see you, Callum. I know you were asking when we were going to reappear, so we've just had a couple of major life incidents happening. Mike has continued to breed, producing beautiful small ginger replicas of himself. Thank God his wife's got good genes, and I moved house. So I am currently hotspotting on really, really crappy internet. So if I do cut out, I'm sorry about that. And I cannot sort my lighting. I will fix that for next week. Here he is. Hello. We're back. I'm just saying hello to all the guys. It's been ages since we've seen them.
Absolutely. Good evening, everybody. Sorry for my lateness. Yeah, life has not settled down in any way, shape, or form recently. But yeah, we love it, don't we? We all love having kids and staying up all night to screaming children.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep, love it, love it, love it.
Makes the whiskey at the end of the day all that bit more worthwhile.
It does, definitely. Yeah, it's been ages since we've been on. I think we're 3 weeks, but yeah, nice to see everybody ready for us, and I'm so excited about who we've got on tonight. It's going to be a total geek fest. So this is something I've been wanting on for a while, and it's one of those things where I think is where it's the positive power of the internet, where you know somebody just kind of posts stuff out there and it kind of explodes up into something much bigger, much greater. So it'd be exciting to get John on to hear his story in a minute.
Absolutely. What's in your glass tonight, Kat? Have you managed to transport your whiskey collection over?
I did. So we literally moved across the road. We're just on the other side of the street. So me and my 3 sons were back and forth for a couple of nights, like late into the night, like a little pack of elephants or burglars, whichever way you look at it. And my kids were like back and forth, they're like, Mom, why the hell are there so many boxes of whiskey? I'm like, it's just, you know, it's not, you can only fit 6 in a box. It just looks like more than it is. So I'm going to go on theme for my favorite time of the year. It is literally my Christmas tomorrow. It's Halloween. So it's Halloween. Me and my sisters can go and dance under the moon and cast hexes and everybody. So I'm going to go with the Lady of the Glen Samhain series, and it's their Torabeg, which I absolutely love it. And we had Stephen on, so I know I've shown this bottle before, but I love the whiskey, and it's on brand for Halloween. And it was the easiest one to get hold of, to be honest.
Awesome. I am trying to think of a link. I just grabbed a couple of bottles. I don't even think this bottle's moved because it was when we're talking about labels. I've gone for the rum cask Ardmore. I'm going to use a link that the guy in the picture is wearing a tam o' shanter, and that is a theme of a Robbie Burns poem, which has witches in it, and it's Halloween tomorrow. So there we go.
Tenuous, but yeah, I like it.
I'll have a look around to see what else I've got that can match that Halloween theme. So that's what I'm going for tonight. Shall we bring our guest on? Will we bring John on?
100%.
Let's bring at the stage. Hello, John. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. Very well. Just pouring this much earned dram today. Not that I've done much other than look after the kids. Only for the last hour and a half, two and a half hours of the day. But it's still worth a lovely little Ardmore. So cheers, guys. Slange.
Cheers. I'm not drinking anything tonight, unfortunately. Not on a work night, but the weekend I will.
On the weekend. What's your tipple? What do you go for?
Well, I like to experiment a bit. At the moment, I'm in a bit of a rum mood. I'm feeling rum at the moment, particularly since coming back from Jamaica a couple of months ago. I brought back with me quite a lot. We've got some Appleton Estate, and I've just polished up a Hamden Estate rum, their overproof rum, which is very high esters. It's absolutely lovely.
Really funky, isn't it? The Hamden one. Yeah. It's kind of, I regard them like Jamaican as the kind of Campbelltown funk of the rum world. It's that kind of very unique, tart, sour, fruity kind of feel going on.
Phenomenal in cocktails. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think. Oh no, sorry. Go on.
I was going to say we've got DBH Guitar 13. It's saying the Foghouse Pedro Jimenez finished rum is outstanding. Thank you. I think it's Dominic. Is Dominic back? Or am I recognise the picture more than the name.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, that'd be nice if Dominic's back under a different pseudonym and also guitar. That's interesting. Oh yes, it's Dom. That's nice. Yeah, cool. I was thinking, because we got into esters pretty quickly, I thought that's a great segue into who is John Angus and why do we have him on? If you don't mind, do you want to give yourself like a little introduction? And for the folk that haven't seen you go absolutely viral on LinkedIn in particular, I'll let you explain who you are and what you do.
So I'm John. I'm a chemist by background, taking a bit of a zigzag career path, currently at the civil service, but recently on LinkedIn, if any of you are in LinkedIn, I've been starting to post about the chemistry behind the different processes and the different flavors that can be found in spirits, mostly whiskey, but also sometimes exploring other spirits as well. So trying to look at how each different stage, all the way from grain to maturation to even how you serve it, can shape the flavor that you get in your glass.
I think like the whole kind of flavor creation in whiskey, I think it's one of those things we all think we kind of partially understand, but it's not really until you kind of look at every single stage. And I always say to people that come into the distillery, like from literally from grain to glass, every single stage is flavor creation. And I think there's like fermentation as well. Like part of me understands quite a bit of it, and part of me is just like, there's some sort of witchcraft happening there as well, because you understand the sort of science of esterification and sort of the alcohols and the acids all reacting together. There's like this whole bacterial input as well, which I find absolutely crazy. And then the more I start reading your stuff online, it's like a rabbit hole, because then I just start Googling like words I didn't know existed, like sotolin or something like that, or like different aldehydes, and like I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just, there's so much more to understand out there, and it really is. It's so interesting. Like it's like, yeah, chemistry and magic kind of combined. I'm not even formulating this into a question. I'm literally just fangirling just now. It's just
it
it's just a
is
lot of fun.
it is, and there is a lot of. I think previously, up until like I don't know, maybe until like at least the last couple of decades, there's been a lot of say like mysticism around it, but also a lot of this is how it's been done traditionally. This is how we've done it for hundreds of years. So this is this is the way we're going to continue to do it. But I think that, and that's great. I think that that's wonderful. And I think that there are a lot of great whiskies and great spirits that are produced that way. But I also think that if you know the chemistry behind how those spirits and those flavors are produced at each different stage, then that gives you the skills to be able to experiment a lot more as a distiller and be able to maybe hone in on a particular flavor, maybe say that, you know, you want to make it have much more apple character or much more phenolic character, or, you know, highlight the smoke or the peatiness or whatever it might be at the different stages. So understanding how and why these flavors are formed, I think, can just be a really good tool for distillers. But I think as well, for me, I also find that if I understand why a particular drink tastes the way it does, I get a little bit more enjoyment out of it if I understand all the craft that's gone into it, all the science that's gone into it. So it's just, I think it's great to understand for distillers and drinkers and everyone in between. But also, I mean, likewise, if you don't want to understand it, or, you know, you like the mysticism behind it, then, you know, it's I'm rambling now, but basically I just think it's great to understand.
Rambling's what we do best, John. So I mean, marketing obviously has such a big part to play in whiskey. With what 153 distilleries, they all try and be unique. And do you think, have we underplayed how whiskey was made back in the good old days, or when marketing wasn't a thing and it was all about that flavor? Do you think it was just luck that they happened upon these flavors, or did they actually know, like what you're describing in some of your posts, what was happening? There was a chemical science behind it.
I mean, if we're going back to days before chemical science is what it is now, then I doubt very much they understood why things were
maybe not as in depth as we can go today,
but that's not to say that they weren't experimenting at the time. You know, you can still do science without even understanding the chemicals that are happening. You can still experiment away. You can change certain factors, different variables, and get different results. So I imagine they had a bit of an understanding. But then, yeah, I just think that there probably was a lot of experimentation, but also a lot of unanswered questions back in the day. For instance, like, why is it that grain from this one field results in a whiskey slightly different to grain produced just down the road in a different field? And it might just be due to the species of grain. It might just be due to the different microclimates that exists, whatever it might be. But also then you've got things like, you know, depending on where in Scotland you've brewed this, it could be that you've got different temperatures year round, not just for the brewing, but also for the maturation. All of these things like affect it ever so slightly. So again, I'm rambling because I've forgotten the question, but I just think that there's I think they probably had an idea of what could shape the whiskey, but I don't think they probably fully understood why. And that's understandable. We've only just, you know, in the last century, developed the chemical sciences to the point where we can understand it the way that we do now.
I guess there would have been keynotes they would have looked for, you know, like every sort of key start, like start fermentation, you've always got that kind of banana notes that start appearing, and then, you know, your kind of apple. So I guess, you know, before you had kind of commercialized like yeast and things, like they were dependent a lot on like wild yeast. So there'd be like times when they would just get like proper minging funky notes, and they'd be like, yeah, that doesn't smell like the last one. So I guess maybe there would have been this sort of like a little cheat sheet of like, yeah, this is definitely smelling like the last batch. I don't think we're going to go blind this time, guys. But yeah, we're probably in a much. I kind of feel like fermentation. I've been in the industry for like 7 years now, and I only feel like really people are actually really embracing fermentation. I think the changes come just because we now know like the consumer is a bit more of a connoisseur and has a better understanding of like distillation, what to look for, and that really has kind of forced like sort of distillers to actually just put a little bit more time and effort into, or maybe just being a bit more honest about fermentation, because like we all experiment, we all kind of play around with sort of fermentation times and things, and we know the general principles of it, but you're seeing so many more distilleries with like longer fermentation times and things.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, John.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I mean, just the other day I had a conversation with someone that was surprised by a post that I put out that said that certain flavors were formed as a direct result of the yeast during fermentation. And with my science hat on, it wasn't a surprise to me, but then it got me thinking that maybe the consensus of, you know, the general public, not whiskey enthusiasts, but maybe people that, you know, don't understand it as much, maybe they don't see, you know, the fermentation stage as being so critical to the flavor. It's just that it's a step to produce the ethanol. But yeah, I mean, it's responsible for so much flavor in your final whiskey. It's unbelievable, frankly. I think it's got the potential to produce more flavor than, and by flavor, I'm talking about individual flavors, not the intensity of a flavor, but more like the number of different flavors that it can produce. I think it can produce more than maturation, more than like the grain, more than the malting, because of what the yeast can do. But also, you're absolutely right with experimenting with yeast. I think, and I think it's like as a direct result of, you know, each summer getting warmer and warmer and warmer. Like a lot of distilleries up in Scotland at the moment, they've had to start playing around with new yeasts that actually don't produce as many flavors at higher temperatures, so that they can keep the flavor profile of their final spirits consistent, so there isn't a variation there. So it's endlessly fascinating.
Absolutely. I think the way I kind of see this new development into fermentation, I think a little bit out of necessity with new distilleries wanting to have something that they can release younger. I think they want more flavor or different kind of flavor in the spirit, without having to rely so much on the age in the barrel. And I think that was a big thing for, I think the first one I kind of really realized was Kilchoman. When they started, they were about 78 hours. And then you seen guys like Rassay and Lochley and that, and these were the guys who really pushed fermentation as something to consider when we're talking about flavor. Before that, it was, you know, you heard the stories, everyone was talking 80 to 90% of the flavor came from the wood or whatever barrel it was in, or the age and things like that. And we've got Alan has commented on, and I'm just going to tell, so Alan is saying, is John's knowledge limited to fermentation and distillation, or also the maturation? All I'm going to say to you, Alan, is go follow him on LinkedIn. Have a look at the photos. But I mean, it's not just whiskey, is it? It's you've started developing conversations about wine and rum and cognacs and all these
things. And I won't sit here and pretend to be a brewer or a distiller. I don't work in a brewery or a distillery, but what I'm doing is I'm researching and I'm like trying to present the chemistry behind these different aspects of whiskey development or other spirit development. So I look at different types of grains, malting, fermentation, distillation, maturation, even different spirits from around the world. So like you said, rum, tequila, soju was an interesting one that I enjoyed looking at. Yeah, I look at it all. Yeah. It's great fun. Check me out on LinkedIn and drop me a follow.
Absolutely. I
Definitely.
think because you're looking at the science on it, there must be that copy and paste kind of element to what you're doing. You know, the wood effect, is it the same on whiskey as it is on rum? Is it on in tequila? Is there a lot of kind of, maybe not copy and paste, but a lot of things that we see repeating across these flavors? Because as a whiskey drinker, or the guys at home who are whiskey passionate about whiskey, they kind of pull towards whiskey and saying, "Oh, this is great because." And then we pick that up and say, well, actually, if you like that about your whiskey, you're going to love it in a rum, or you'll love it in a tequila or a cognac. It's a great way of opening up this conversation in other spirits.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of overlap when, like, particularly when we talk about, say, like maturation. So, you know, aged rums, aged tequilas, aged whiskeys. You know, there are going to be a lot of overlapping processes. So, for instance, if it's a new barrel, then you're going to end up extracting a lot of vanillin. If it's an old one, then you might start getting some hemicellulose breakdown. You might start getting some little bit of residual sugar or sotalin or whatever it might be. It's you will see these things. You know, you will see very similar things happening, but also the composition of the liquid that goes into the barrel will also play an aspect of it. So, for instance, you know, if we talk about, say, Jamaican rums again, you know, when they go in and they are absolutely packed full of esters, much higher than, say, a whiskey, the way that that ages is going to be different. You might get some hydrolysis of the esters. You might break them down into their acids and alcohols and, you know, bring out different flavors and different levels of funkiness depending on how long you age them for. So there is some similar traits, but then there's also things that diverge because of what the liquid is that's gone into it, I'd say.
Superb.
And I was kind of reading about I kind of got lost on your LinkedIn page again earlier, and then realized that actually I just had to make dinner and stuff. But it's like that kind of aha moments when, you know, you're like, have you ever wondered where the nutty flavors, maple syrup flavors come from? And you, as a, like, you know, working whiskey, you find yourself saying, oh, you know, this is characteristic of these flavors because of this maturation style or this oak style. Or me in particular, I'm really drawn to like tropical notes. Like I love that kind of pineapple-y, kind of peaches kind of note. And it's when you actually kind of break down your little kind of posts or your diagrams of exactly how these components are made, whether it's like, you know, two things coming together. And it's so interesting because like it's pivotal, because too much of one or too little of the other, you know, you're not going to get that right reaction that creates that note. So yeah, I find that really interesting as well. This is happening all around about us, and you're like, but you're pinpointing exactly how these flavors are coming into existence. So yeah, it's
I mean, it's
very
testament
cool,
to.
but it's like there's.
Oh, sorry.
On you go.
I was just going to say it's testament to distillers. You know, like even if they didn't understand the chemistry behind it, they're still able. You know, they've been able all this time to do that balancing act, as you said, to produce those flavors in just the right quantities. So it's testament to their skill. It's fantastic.
And I know, like, setting out for the new distillery with a sort of flavor profile in mind, I guess you really have to have an understanding where that's coming from, because, you know, a lot of that is coming from fermentation. So you're going to have to like set. But then it's trying to decide what sort of maturation then matches the house style of your. You get completely lost in that. Like, I don't even know how people begin in that process of figuring out what they want and how to achieve that, because there's so many other like variables that you can't quite control. The terroir, like the sort of the magic of the place, and they all just seem to weave together to create something amazing. But yeah, it's a very cool world to get lost in.
Yeah, and I think that if anyone is starting a distillery, I think looking like working backwards can be quite powerful. So if, say, for instance, like you say, you wanted a very specific flavor profile, you wanted certain notes of fruitiness, you wanted certain notes of phenolics, whatever it might be, you can then start to work back and work out, right, well, this yeast is able to produce these different types of flavors. This malt is particularly high in protein, which will give me the precursors for it. Do I need a long or a short fermentation? How do I need it malted in order to achieve the specific phenolic profile? Obviously, it's a lot more considerations and variables than that, but you can certainly start to work backwards once you've got an idea in mind of what you want it to be.
Have you done any consultation with new distilleries or worked with them in any way?
No, not yet. I would love to, but not yet. I've only been doing this about 8 months now as a bit of a side project while I've been working. So haven't been able to give it all my time. But if there are any new distillery owners out there, I would very much like to do that.
Awesome. Well, we will pitch out to as many people as we can. It sounds great fun.
Definitely. It'd be, I mean, like you said, sorry, go on. I was going to say, I just wondered if John was interested in sort of doing sort of educational work for likes of distillery staff, visitor centre staff. Like what is the sort of, because I know you operate under spirit chemistry. So what is that? Like what do you offer under that kind of heading?
What I would love to offer is, well, I mean, obviously at the moment I do my LinkedIn posts. And at the moment, each week, I'm trying to break down a specific flavor that can be in your whiskey. So each week I'll look at a flavor, how it gets there, and how you can shape that flavor in your final product. So what sort of factors and variables you can play with to maximize or, like scale that flavor down. So I'm doing that, and I have a Substack at the time being where I go into a little bit more detail in that Substack. So on top of that, I am looking at putting this all into a book. Quite a few people have mentioned that they would like this to be in a book form. So, and as someone that's never written a book before, I don't even know where you start, but I'm considering that, going down that route 100%. But otherwise, consultations, education, I would love to. I would love to actually get into a distillery and work in one and actually get to experiment, but who knows when that will be. But yes, consulting, education. I have a background as a school teacher, so that's something I quite enjoy doing. So yeah, everything and everything really. I love it all.
Superb. No, I think from reading what you've been doing, I think it would be excellent. And it would be a tragic waste if we don't get you involved in the industry, given how much 8 months is all you've been doing it, and you think what you gained in terms of followers and respect for that. I think it'd be absolutely superb. I want to jump in because there's a lot of comments coming in, and I want to make sure that these guys don't feel like we're ignoring them. Dominic has asked, is the flavor from a purely chemical approach, or do you consider the subjective person-centered element of perception and expectation, etc.?
Again, that's a very good point. So, I mean, I used to work with someone that couldn't even remotely smell acetic acid vinegar. So you can imagine, like, particularly when we worked in a lab, you can imagine some of the issues that can cause. But yeah, everyone's different. I am by no means. I have a shit palate. I am not good at detecting flavors at all. I can taste it, and I know that The combination of everything is lovely and I really enjoy it. But if you were to ask me what flavor notes in it, I've no idea. Everyone is different in that regard. People detect different flavors with different intensities. Some people can't detect certain flavors. Some people are very, very sensitive to others. So yeah, I purely do it on a chemical basis. So overall, this chemical is responsible for this aroma or this taste, and this is how you produce it and maximize it in your drink. But no, I wouldn't tell you how to go about enjoying it. I don't really tackle it from that perspective, just the science.
Mhm. Good stuff. Alan is asking, what distilleries excite you and why?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think because it's in my recent memory of going to it, but Hampden Estate, I know that they're an old one, but loved it, loved everything about it. You know, as we mentioned before, incredibly funky, and it's because they go out of their way to maximize ester production in it by producing cane acid, from their cane sugar. So they produce on purpose acetic acid and add a whole load of acetic acid into the fermentation, and then that allows the yeast to, with the ethanol that's produced, to produce ethyl acetate. So you've got a strong sort of pear apple flavor there. You know, they'll also do things like muck pits where they'll purposely produce rancid flavors like butyric acids, that baby vomit smell. So they'll do that on purpose so that they can then add that into the fermentation to produce ethyl butyrate, which is that distinctive pineapple aroma. So that I loved it. I love that level of experimentation, that level of just going, we want to make the funkiest, so we're going to. And I loved it. Some others, again, I seem to be quite focused on rum, but I quite like Two Drifters at the moment. They are producing some really nice rums and trying to do it in a very environmentally conscious way, and I really like that.
Where is that distillery? Is that a local one to you guys, or is it a Caribbean one as well?
Oh, where? I have a feeling it's all the way down south on the coast, but I couldn't tell you where exactly in the country it is. I want to say Cornwall. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
It's always good to check up. Yeah, I'm just checking to see if we've got a couple of comments about the Dunder. David Stirk, as well, as he's watching. Good evening, David. Saying that tasting notes are an equal measure of imagination and confidence. I guess so. David is an independent bottler, so bottles his own whiskies as well. So has written a few tasting notes in his time. Would you agree with that? I noticed on your fact that your comment you open up with you hate it when tasting notes sound like poetry.
Yeah. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with tasting notes. So what I don't like is when you go to, you go to a supermarket, you go to a bottle shop, whatever it might be, and you're looking at the bottles, and some of them will have tasting notes like, oh, it's got hints of vanilla and toffee, or, it's got toffee and vanilla. It all seems to be a variation on very similar flavors in a lot of the cases. And don't get me wrong, like, that might be useful. It might contain some strong notes of vanilla or toffee or caramel or whatever the flavors might be. But what I don't like about them is that, if I'm presented with, 3 or 4 bottles that all say roughly the same tasting notes, what's my, what then becomes my decision-making process to decide that I want that bottle? Do I base it then just on the label, purely on the aesthetic? Do I base it purely on the age? It's for me, I think they have a time and a place, but I'm not entirely sure that they're necessarily good for like advertising or trying to tell you what to expect when you open that bottle and want to start drinking it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's either the job of the marketer or the shop to guide people. Sorry, Kat, you were ready to say something.
I'm not. So I mean, I do like taste notes, and I totally get what you mean. Sometimes taste notes can be a little bit overthought. So instead of being helpful, it can be a bit of a hindrance. But I guess from just on the theme that we're talking about, there are going to be key things that you get that are repeated in whiskey. For example, you know, if you're maturing in a bourbon cask, you're probably going to get your vanillins and your coconuts. So I guess a lot of maturations or styles will have a similarity between them. If you hear the word pear drops used so much in a lot of whiskies, and of course that comes across fermentation and distillation. I guess there's only so many different ways you can describe that without bullshitting people, because, you know, sometimes coconut's just coconut, and other times people will have a taste note of it, like, you know, it's like having a Mars Bounty on a Caribbean beach. You're like, okay, but that's still just coconut, right? Like, so, like, you know, it's like, it's kind of a balance of being honest about, yeah, you should get these notes in there, that you should have maybe some vanilla, but also maybe kind of opening up, I don't know, making yourself stand out in the shelf. I don't know, it's just, I think it's maybe a fine balance between honesty and romanticism. Like, if you can get a balance between there, like, some bottles really annoy me, and I always use this reference, but there's certain brands that will talk in depth about, you know, a little wren washing its wings by a babbling brook. But you're like, yeah, but what's the maturation? Like, what cask did you put it in? Like, seriously, like, just give me some basic information. So yeah, it's taste notes have to be somewhere in the middle there between honesty and marketing and romanticism. So yeah, I'm in the middle of taste notes, I think.
Yeah, we could always take the Callum Renton advice and say, buy all three whiskies and then try them side by side. Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
I just get the cheapest, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, how far do we go down that rabbit hole of science? So, you know, do you think we're in danger maybe of wanting to know too much, so that, you know, what makes Scotch whiskey is the idea of history and romance and magic? You know, do you think we can know too much? We need to leave a little bit to the imagination?
I think it's a personal preference, really. I think for me, the magic comes from understanding how all of these processes work in perfect balance to produce that final product. And I'm the same with everything. I like to explore the why. And, you know, that might not necessarily be the case for everyone. That, you know, sometimes they might just want to enjoy it, you know, or just enjoy the magic of it without knowing why. And that's fine. But I think it's just a bit of a personal preference. For me, I would always want to know why and always dive down that rabbit hole. And I think it just makes it a bit more special for me. And again, I'm only speaking for me here. For me, that just makes it more special.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
See, I wanted to know the why, and I keep asking this question. Why do you get a menthol note coming through in whiskies, particularly if it's been matured in a sherry cask? I was doing sherry training the other day with my team, with Diego, who is the sherry king. But I asked the question, why do I get like a menthol kind of aroma, particularly with a sherry maturation or a heavy sherry maturation? And he's like, good question. I don't know the answer, which I'm totally okay with, because I like when people don't know the answer, because it opens it up to, like, let's find out together. Let's go on a journey. So John Angus, why do I get a menthol note?
I'm going to have to give you the same answer. It's not something that I have yet explored. So until I do, I don't want to give you an answer or, you know, try and postulate an answer, because I could be very wrong. But what I will do after this is I will have a look into that for you.
Amazing. See, if I see it on your LinkedIn, I'm going to be like, That's because of me. That's so cool. I love still being surprised though. Like I totally get Mike's question, and I do think it's an optional thing of like, the answers should be out there if you want to know them, but also if you want to have that mystery, then fine. An example of that is I went to Deanston recently. Awesome distillery, absolutely love it. So quirky, like it's in an old cotton mill. So cool. They've got like a hydro system, and going through the whole tour, the guide was awesome. It was really building up to me thinking this is exactly my type of whiskey. It's going to be fruity. It's going to be tropical. Like I'm going to love this. Quite long fermentations, like quite steep line arm, big round stills, slow distillation. I was like, this is my vibe. And then we got to try the new make, and it was just like this really big cereal, waxy, kind of grassy new make that I just did not expect, which didn't tie into everything I've just seen up to that point. It just completely confused my brain. Still gorgeous whiskey, absolutely loved it. Bought a bottle. But it just wasn't what I expected at all. And I think part of that is that magic of terroir, potentially. I know people hate the word and they're all going to call me a dick. But yeah, there is still a bit of mystery out there, potentially. Either that or I just completely misunderstood what the guide was telling me, to be honest. But who knows? I need to go back.
I do think that there's an aspect of terroir. I mean, there certainly is in the wine industry. I don't see why it would be any different for barley or any other grain for that matter. Microclimates can exist, different water, different watering amounts can exist on different fields. It certainly can exist, and I do think that can absolutely play a role. It's interesting that, because I do enjoy when you have something that sort of doesn't meet your expectations, but I also love that because then you can start to dive into, well, why didn't that? Have I got this wrong? Like, let's explore like what's going on here. So yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's a challenge, but it's fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. If you ever go to Deanston and you find out why, or if I've just misunderstood what the guide was saying, let me know.
I do love a good new make spirit. Like frankly, sometimes I prefer a new make spirit to some like aged spirits. I love it. It's fresh. It's strong. You like those esters and that fruity character can really punch through. And I love a new make spirit.
You need to come and visit Glengarry. We have got floor malting, we've got direct firing, we've got the best new make spirit out there, hands down. Come and see us and be blown away by new make spirit. For everyone playing the Glengarry game, you can have a drink now, okay? I did it.
Loving the pun, the pitch there, I think. But you're right, new make spirit. And refill, I've said it a few times on the Blether before. When I started drinking whiskey, it was sherry. I loved the big, heavy sherry notes. The more I want to geek out on whiskey, the more I'm drawn towards refilled or bourbon casks, because you get more of the chemistry, and you're able to taste, and try and figure out where your flavors are coming from, rather than it just being swamped by the cask. And new make is the best for that. And I think the problem that we've had recently with terroir experiments is that the whiskies that we taste are matured and married or blended by the cask, and for me that negates the whole idea, because as soon as you introduce some form of blending, there's an element of deliberate choice there, where we're picking whiskey to, or the blender is making that whiskey taste like whatever they want to, where they can then say, well, that was part of the distillation process, or that was because of the barley. Where we need, I think, the Waterford's kind of the big example. If they had the new make spirit as a sample alongside the finished whiskey, perhaps they could have opened up that door. But as soon as they introduced blending or marrying or maturation, I thought it just kind of killed their own experiment a little bit.
Yeah. Blending's a funny one, because I really have a lot of respect for blenders as well, though. They've got a palate unlike anything. Like it's phenomenal. And I can understand it when you've got like a bottom line and you need to get so many bottles out and it needs to be consistent. So get it. But yeah, when you're also looking at like smaller batches, experimental batches, blending, you know, it is what it is. It might not be the ideal thing, but I really enjoy cask finishes at the moment, like experimenting with them in terms of trying them. Like sherry, as we've said, like this week, as you mentioned, Kat, I've been doing a series of posts on Sotalin. So this is that maple nuttiness, sometimes curry like notes that you can get in a whiskey. And I think it's fascinating how even though the barrel's empty, what was held in it can have such an impact on the final product. Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's wild. And as someone that loves port a lot, I've yet to try a port cask finished whiskey, but I'm looking forward to that day when I do, because I love port.
There are a host of great port cask whiskies out there. I'm a big port cask fan. So yeah, off the top of my head, one I'd recommend would be the Arran port cask, if you can get your hands on that.
All right.
Would be a phenomenal dram. Really nice. I think it's about £60, 55, £60, I think. So nothing too extreme, but that's the first thing that pops into my head is, and I also, do I have it nearby? I think I took it through the house actually. Was in Ardmore and a tawny port, which was bottled by David Stirk, who I don't know if you still watch it. Absolutely phenomenal. Such a good whiskey. So yeah, there's plenty of port cask whiskies out there for you.
Oh, well, I look forward to experimenting with them.
I'm conscious that we've only got you for the hour today, John, because you are busy and you've been at work all day. So maybe we'll check if we've got everybody's questions answered before we let you escape for the night. Because that hour has just gone past super fast. I can't believe how quickly an hour can go past when you're geeking out. Just can I say quickly to everyone that's being very kind about my dog, I can't remember who, my doggy did pass away, and thank you very much for everybody on the comments that are passing on their best wishes. It's very sweet. I haven't scrolled back up, but there was a few of you, so thank you very much for that. But yeah, we'll find some more questions because the chat's been going mad.
I'm going to pour a wee doggy for your wee doggy.
Thank you very much. She was called Lupin. She was a little Paradale, and she was an absolute nut job, but she was my nut job. So she got to a good age, and she had a very good life. Callum was asking. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Callum's asking, from a chemist's point of view, does the place of maturation affect taste brackets? It does, obviously. Callum can answer the question himself, but if you want to take the rest of it.
Yes, it absolutely does. Loads of factors. Temperature being a big one, fluctuation throughout the year, the high temperatures, the low temperatures, even daily fluctuation in temperatures can have a big effect. The liquid can actually expand into the wood and then contract when it's colder. Airflow is a big one. Airflow dictates the amount of, say, evaporative loss that you might. Well, it isn't the only factor that will dictate that, but it can certainly help with evaporative loss. So the angel shares. You've also got like the amount of oxidation that's occurring inside of the cask. Even things like where you place it in like the racking while it's aging can have a difference. You can have two barrels side by side, and apparently blenders can taste differences between the two. But it does make sense. There are going to be slight fluctuations in temperature, pressure, airflow, oxidation, and all of these things do add up. So the place of maturation can definitely have an effect.
Do you think the place of distillation as well?
For sure.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Possibly. Distillation is quite is quite a known science. So To a certain extent, it depends on your distillation rig. Some distillation rigs are have got sensors up the yin yang. You know the exact temperature at each different stage. It is controlled. It is consistent 24 hours a day. And then you can have, say, you like an old-fashioned copper pot still, and if, say, for instance, you're running it in the winter or you're running it in the summer, you do have a chance that you could be affecting the rate of condensation that actually goes through the still. So not to say that it would have a massive impact, but there's a potential there if it isn't properly insulated, or, if it's just exposed to, the ambient temperatures, that you could start to condense different things out.
Okay,
I think
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, the one that stands out for me is Glenglassaugh, and they always say, it's an untamable spirit, which is why it's passed on from the blender to blender quite a lot, is because it keeps popping up in blends, and they can't use the bulk to blend out, and they put it down to it being right on the coast of the Murray Firth, where it is, surrounding Gorsebush and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's interesting from a science point of view, because the guys we speak to on a day-to-day basis are trying to sell us the product. So there is always going to be that marketing romanticism about it, and sometimes it's great just to hear somebody who's sticking to facts and sticking to science and saying this is the black and white of it, as far as possible.
I mean, it can definitely have an impact on fermentation, but I would say that it would depend on the rig that you've got. If you've got a rig that you can completely temperature control all day and all night, it's not going to have an impact. But if you've got a rig that's just a pot, that essentially you're just allowing it to brew in an open room, then the ambient temperature will have an effect, and that effect that could be the difference between high esters, low esters. It could be the difference between slow or the need for a slow or a long fermentation. It can be all sorts. So the place of it can have an effect, but I would caveat it with various dependencies. Like, is it all temperature controlled? Is it not? What are the specific conditions?
Yeah. I guess it's not just one parameter you're looking at, is it? It's hundreds, if not thousands, of things you have to take into consideration for answering pretty much any question that we are putting to you, which is so hard to isolate. But it's something you're doing very well on your LinkedIn. It's taking a specific segment. What's great for somebody like me who's more image-based or visually based is you have the diagrams that we can look at and try and understand as well, which guys, honestly, before John goes tonight, if you're on LinkedIn, for the people who aren't maybe on LinkedIn, what's the best way to kind of follow you or get a hold of your work?
I've not done a very good job of advertising myself. I am on LinkedIn, obviously, and I'd say the other best place, because I'm terrible with social media and keeping up to date with it, is probably just my Substack, really, where I go into a bit more detail. But yeah, I need to do more in terms of my social media, but LinkedIn and Substack for the time being. And I just noticed a question in the chat.
You are the second scientist we've had on.
Oh, right.
Oh, no, sorry. Go on. On you go.
Oh,
no, it wasn't like we move over. You're the second scientist. I'm going to say we're crossing over. I'm going to stop. You carry on.
I was just going to say there's a question I just noticed there in the chat from Jeremy about salt, and that's one that I've been asked quite a lot. And the answer is that salt itself, sodium chloride, doesn't get into the cask. There is no salt that gets into your final liquid. But what it is that when you go down to the seaside and you take a big deep breath in, you're not smelling salt. You're smelling a load of other aromatic compounds that are coming off the sea. And those can make their way into the spirit through the pores where you get your exchange of water and ethanol. Some of that can make its way into the cask. And when you've got those flavors in the cask, and then those flavors, going into your nose when you come to drink it, it's, from what I understand, it'll have like a bit of a sense. It'll ring bells in your mind of being down at the seaside, and almost that salty like smell in the air. But it isn't salt. Just to clarify.
It's like that whole thing of, we say all the time, of like your sense of smell being linked to your memory, isn't it? So like you've got these aromatic compounds, and straight away, we all think of that salty seaside, isn't it? So like it's just that kind of your brain kind of piecing it all together and creating the story behind it. The science thing was, you're the second scientist we've had on who doesn't do social media at all. So it seems to be a theme in your among your colleagues. So
don't have time
so, yeah, no,
for
it's
social media when you're doing so much experimenting. We've got Stuart Buchanan watching tonight. Good evening, Stuart. Hope you are well. And he's just commenting saying a good pal in the US went as far as logging barometric pressure and moon phase of each spirit run. that's geekery.
That is, yeah. That's a lot of variables to take into account.
That'd be quite cool. It'd be interesting to see what kind of difference that makes. Because again,
very,
we're gonna...
well, very on theme for this time of
year. Yeah.
It's quite witchy.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that there would be some differences. Barometric pressure doesn't really change that much unless you go up a mountain, but it could have some effect. It'd be interesting to find out if anything came from that.
Yeah. Again, you'd have to look at so many other things, like how long has it matured and stuff. It would be very difficult, I think, to pinpoint the effect of that pressure or the moon phase to a specific flavor. Ooh, smells like a full moon. I'm not sure if it quite...
I mean, I would buy that bullshit, to be honest. Like, I'm sold. Like, full moon whiskey, I'll have that. I love it.
Let me just have a quick look at anything else that's come through. I was really interested about salt, because that's something that we get asked a lot as well.
On you go. My internet is not dealing with this night, but I'm gonna sit quiet.
Yeah, John, I think the lag is getting worse, so we will let you. That's been an hour you've been on. Thank you so much for your time. We always thank our guests. We know that you give up your time to come and chat to us. Hugely appreciated. Thank you so much. The information in just that hour you've given us and talked about, it's clear you're really passionate about. I love the crossover between the science and the whiskey or the rum or the spirit that you're taking on, and to have got as far as you have in that 8 months, I think is phenomenal, and I can't wait to see what else comes from you and from spirit chemistry in the future. I really hope you get people pick up on your work and get you in distilleries, and staff training would be outstanding as well. So.
Yeah, well, thank you, genuinely. I was saying to Kat before we started, like it's the self-deprecating nature in me, but I'm always surprised when people, get something out of it. But I am really, really glad to find that people are, and thank you very much. And it's just going to continue from here. So there's going to be much more coming in the future. So keep an eye out. And if you've ever wanted to know why certain flavors exist, check out my work, and hopefully we'll get to all of them eventually. And I will be looking at menthol after this, so I'll be getting back to you soon about that, Kat.
I've just put a link onto John's Substack page, the Spirit Chemistry as well, so the guys at home can click on that and have a look. Hopefully you get some followers and some order, because those images we spoke about, you do them as prints as well, don't you? So people can buy them and keep them in a wee pocket guide pamphlet or something of their own design.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to get some, and we're going to put them up. We've got a whiskey bar and shop as well, so we're going to put them up on the walls and make sure them. I'm trying to think where we could put them. I want to say somewhere like in the toilets where people are focused, but I don't want to downgrade you to a lavvy read. So we'll find somewhere a lot more interesting for your pictures, because they're great fun, and they look great, and they're fun as well. So
thank you very much.
So yeah, we will let you go, John. I think
thank you for having me on. It's been great. Thank you very much. I always love talking about it, so if you ever want to talk about it again, just let me know.
We will do. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Connect.
Thanks.
I'm not sure how to. I feel really bad because I had to literally kick him out there. The StreamYard is quite brutal. I could either kick him out or ban him. I had to kick him out in the nicest.
I know. What an absolutely amazing chat. We need to get him back on when he's got his book, and I want him to come and do some staff training at Glengarry, because honestly, it's like a rabbit hole when you get on his LinkedIn and you just start kind of reading it. You're like, because you understand bits of it, but you're like, oh, yeah. And for everyone that's asking when the next Blether is, I know we did disappear for 3 weeks. I am sorry about that. It was just an explosion of two worlds spiraling off in different directions. We do have somebody on next week. I'm a little bit behind with bookings just because I'm having major internet problems just now, and life is chaos. But we have an amazing guest next week. We've got Adam Hannett who's the master blender from Bruichladdich. So very, very excited. Amazing, yeah. So there's been a bit of back and forth. We've been trying to get a date settled for a couple of weeks now, just because he's a very, very busy man. He's been traveling the world, but he's also, family man. So, yeah, awesome. Really excited to finally get a date in the diary for Adam. So we're going to get him on next week, and hopefully I'll get back on an even keel. Up to this.
Stuart Buchanan, if you're watching, we had Stuart in last weekend to the Foghouse doing our tasting with Glendronach. If you're still keen for the Blether, as you said at the end of the tasting, it would be great to have you on as well. So I will pass your details on to Kat, and we'll hopefully get a diary date.
100%. And if you don't, I will just hound you on Facebook. I know where you are. I will not leave you alone.
And if we do struggle, Dominic is offering to be a guest. He has no credentials, but can promise entertainment and controversial Blether.
I mean, the fact that two of his comments earlier were about sleeping in a gutter, which he then changed to sleeping in a guitar. I mean, there's a lot of questions there. So yeah, let's get Dominic on.
Stuart says he'd love to, so let's get that booked. Stuart was a guest in our previous guys. Unfortunately, I couldn't make the Blether when Stuart was on. It was this Russell and Stuart, so I can't wait to join and get talking to you. It was a great tasting we had. Stuart's a legend of the industry. Pretty much everyone knows who he is, and we can't wait to get you on then. Excellent.
Yeah.
Kat, we've kind of hit the hour mark where you normally yap on for a lot longer. What have you been up to? Let's have a catch up, because we haven't caught up for a while.
I know. Actually, in real life either, we're like ships passing the night. Yeah. So mainly moving house, which has been chaotic, and anybody that's moved house will know. I think this is the 10th time I've moved house in like 17 years, so I've got very, very good at it. But only 10, I know, right? So all settled in pretty much, just a few bits and pieces to sort out, which is good. Had a couple of weeks off of work, which has been nice. Anybody that follows my socials, I have been gallivanting here, there, and everywhere. I was up at Dornoch last weekend for the Whisky Festival, which I absolutely loved. It was it was surreal. I was in like a sort of Bedouin tent, like the sort of, I kind of wanted to do a sort of veil dance, like Night of the Seven Veils, in the sort of courtyard of a castle surrounded by whiskey geeks. It was insane, but totally here for it. It was really, really good vibe. So yeah, it's been busy, but good fun. What about
Did
you?
I hear you posted that was the best ever whiskey festival? That caused a little bit of a stir with a certain Mr. Stark, didn't it?
Do you know what it is though, as well? It's like Leith felt like it was so long ago. Like that was ages ago. I kind of forgotten a little bit that I was even at that. I've gone to a lot of festivals this year, business and pleasure. I've been having a lot of fun with my travels this year. It's been fully embracing my 40th year with some very special people this year. So yes, Leith was absolutely outstanding, and it probably was actually my favorite festival. It's going to be hard to top that. But working Dornoch was such a good vibe because you were just like, but absolutely feckin' freezing. It was 4 degrees up at Dornoch, and as beautiful as this tent was, it was all string with fairy lights. There was only one heater. Luckily for us, we were next to the heater. So we had a captive audience because everyone's like, I'm just going to stand here for a bit. I'm like, yeah, on you go. But I'm going to tell you about our whiskey. And I made a little holiday of it as well. Stayed up there for the weekend. So it was nice to get away. But yeah, I did enjoy Dornoch. There's something quite geeky about the Thompson brothers. So they do attract a certain kind of group of just like proper whiskey nuts, which was really good fun. But I did love Leith as well. It was pretty epic, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yes.
So yeah,
we have.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he was straight on it. He was he was straight on it, not letting you away with that one at all. I need to get my accommodation booked for that night. Well, I'm in Edinburgh. I'm not having the same palaver as last year.
I know.
But Callum is asking, is anyone who is watching is going to the Glasgow Whisky Festival? I think Frank has already. He is. Are you going to be there?
Yes, I will be there.
Socially or work?
Socially. Yeah.
Do you work anymore? Do you do work, don't you? Sometimes.
I do, but I also make very good use of my spare time when I get I'm working for you this weekend, Jizo.
You are, guys, coming past for the Blether in person in the Fog House with Kat. She's hosting a tasting on Friday.
Saturday. Yeah, for everyone who came up to me at Dornoch to say that they were Blethering and they watched the Blether, honestly, it made my day. There must have been about 4 different guys came up who recognised me from the Blether. Like, thank you so much, guys, for A, watching, and B, coming to tell me that you watch. It always, I always love that. So thank you very much, everyone that did that. What session, Kat? I don't know what session I'm going to, Callum. I don't know. I will find out in 2 seconds. Carry on among yourselves.
We've got a whiskey question from IW Abernethy. How long can you have a bottle open and it's okay? I have more than 50 in these drinking backlog, but only open 8 at a time. It depends really on where you're storing it, how much is in there. So I would think a bottle like that will not last as long as a bottle like that, because there's less oxygen in here to oxidize the whiskey. If you get to that kind of stage, and you're not going to go back to it, what I'd recommend is decant it into smaller bottles. So if you've got any samples like this kicking around, something like that can help keep it. It takes a while, you're a couple of years probably, if it's around half full, half empty, depending on your pessimistic state or optimistic state. And then so if you think you're not going to go back to it a while, try and find some of these wee bottles. Do a really good job of lengthening the freshness, I suppose. Freshness. Going all Connery.
All right, Sean Connery.
But yeah, whiskey. I would say whiskey normally doesn't last that long, but as you can see, I have a lot of open bottles. I have slightly more than 8. Speaking of, do a bottle kill of that, because that's not going to kick around. The strength as well will have an impact. If it's a stronger bottle, it probably keep longer because it doesn't have as much water in there to oxidize. Oh, that's a bit of a bigger pour than I expected.
For Callum's question, I am going to the early session, 12 to 3:30. So if you are there, then I will see you there. And for Dave's question, no, Glengarry wasn't at Trinity Hall. We didn't make the guest list, unfortunately, but it looked like it was a really, really good event from what I've seen. So, and beautiful venue. I feel like
Dave was at Trinity Hall. How does he not know that you weren't there?
Well, maybe he had a very, very good time. But no, I mean, they always have Glengarry as their shop release. So we get a lot of support from them. So I'm hoping it went well for them, and it did look like a really good event.
Yeah. I was surprised that Glengarry didn't have a presence there. I thought, although they did kind of focus on indies to a large extent, they had a couple of distilleries, but not much. I think Tomatin were there, and the Cabric were there, Daft Mill, but on the main it was indie bottlers, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Can't be at everything. There were so many things on that weekend. So yeah, it's hard.
Edinburgh Festival was on as well, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. There's a few things going on, so it's a busy time of year.
Okay. Callum there's been a couple of mentions on the question about the bottle, how long it lasts. Callum's putting as a rule of thumb for us was always, when a bottle is less than a third full, drink it within a month or two. So you've got time. Yeah. A dram a day, just 1 dram a day, means you'll finish a bottle in a month, give or take. If you're pouring sensibly. House pours, maybe Callum's house pours probably a day.
Oh, and Callum, of course, let us know. Alistair, has he moved? Is he away? Is he not Alistair?
McAllister. Ian McAllister.
McAllister. That was a massive shock. Like, oh my gosh, where did that? Wow, like goodness, that was a big move. So let us know. Has he got there safe and sound? Is he away? Is he settled in? Like, yeah, I wish him all our best. I wish we got him on before he left, but
because
big news.
I mean, the great thing about the internet, Kat, is it's all over the world. We don't have to have them in the country.
I mean, I can't even speak to you. Like, we live half an hour away, and I haven't got enough internet for that to work. There's no way we're going to make China work. You're like, geez,
China's one of the tech-savvy places, isn't it? It's quite interesting.
It might work.
Yeah, I don't know how long Ian's going to... Case in point, yeah, we're... I think the China thing, I don't think is going to be a long-term gig. I think it's a consultation, and for a startup distillery, I think he's going over to. So you're probably looking 3-4 years, maybe, that he's going to be there, well, but contracted. But Whether he comes home or not, I don't know. I think they are there. I think they're over now. Yeah, Callum's just popped on. Ian and Shelley loving things in China so far. So yes, they are there.
Amazing.
And loving it. Excellent. Sounds like an open more at a time as I put away 1 litre per month. You put away you drink 1 litre a month. That's so Ian is saying that he can open more bottles because he drinks 1 litre a month.
Wow. I mean, I don't know what that would look like in sort of vessels. Are we doing like a sort of tumbler a night? I don't know. I mean, I don't measure, to be honest. I've got too many open bottles, and will I stop opening them? Probably not.
A 33 1/3 ml a night.
That's good maths.
Would be 1 litre a month, but on 30 days. So, yeah, not far off that a night.
Fair enough. 33 grams a month. Yeah, I mean, all responsibly done, I'm sure.
We're all being responsible, and Callum's asking, "Are you a beginner, Ian?"
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. Responsible drinking, guys, little and often, is the way to do it. Give your liver time to recover. Always have a couple of alcohol-free days a week, and drink plenty of water. And throw in some gin, some wine now and then, just to mix it up. Challenges the liver to think, oh, there's something different.
This is not responsible drinking, Michael. But always have a dram for a Thursday night so you can tune into the Blether. And also, that reminds me, somebody at the Dornoch Festival described me as Roy's, what's the word? What did he say? Fluffer.
Warm.
Fluffer? Yeah. And I know what that is. And no, I'm not sure that's what we're going to call myself. But,
it's going on the t-shirt.
It's going on the t-shirt, yeah. Roy Aquavite's Fluffer. If I am, you are too, just saying.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So Rev Mordecai is unfamiliar with the term fluffer. So would you like to explain?
No, don't look it up. No, it's definitely of its time, that word. That's not what we are at all. We're the warm-up. I don't know. Do you know what? I'm not even taking that. We are our own entity. We are like, we're Coronation Street before EastEnders.
Roy is our warm down.
Yes, that's what it is.
He's our defluffer.
I don't want that in a t-shirt either. Roy's my defluffer. No. I don't. There's no fluffing. There's no fluff. There's no fluffing. We just don't need any fluff at all. Thursday's big enough for both of us. That's going on a t-shirt.
It is. Oh, I'm not going to be able to look at Roy tonight in the eye. I think, he's not been properly fluffed.
Fluffed cat.
Mm.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. Oh. I mean, if Stuart Buchanan's watching, it's never going to come on next week if we're just talking about it. I feel like that's a mug getting ordered. Roy defluffed cat. Yeah, it's gone downhill pretty quick, hasn't it? You can tell we haven't chatted for a while.
Mm-hmm. I'm just glad there's not a guest on anymore. Joel would have been. David Faxon has just looked it up.
Oh, well, away you go. You knew what that was. You know, I actually only found out what this term was recently because I was listening to a podcast and it's called Extraordinary Lives. It's every single week. It meets somebody else who has led an extraordinary life, clues in the name, whether it's like ex-SAS soldiers or people that were, taken hostage or adventurers or mountaineers, whatever. And recently it was somebody who works in the adult industry. So that is how I found out what that term meant.
Were they a
so
fluffer?
No, but the interviewer had asked about like whether that was a thing and whether it was, urban legend or not. Apparently it was a thing in the 70s and 80s, but it's not a thing now. So there you go.
The pills for that nowadays, aren't
What was that?
they? I said they have pills for
Pills?
that nowadays. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, there you go. It's educational. The Blether, whiskey, and other knowledge.
Whether you want it or not, you're getting it.
Yeah, sometimes it's just Kat emptying her brain in front of people.
Stuart says you didn't know it was that kind of show. I'm sure you could tell us a thing or two, Stuart. Dominic is asking, I wasn't sure whether to take this cheekily or not. Mike, do you work at the Fog House Bar? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now and then. Cheeky
I've
bugger.
seen you about. I've seen you there.
I was there all weekend last weekend. I've been there 12 hours today. I was there 12 hours yesterday. Yes.
Do you know what I haven't seen at the Fog House Bar is the gift that I gave you. You know, I was there like last weekend and I was looking everywhere.
Did you know? He's been up for like
in the bar, like in the main bar where I was with when you came to find us.
No, he's in the tasting room.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll have a look on Saturday then.
He hasn't moved.
Yeah, oh, well, that's fine. I just assumed he maybe would have been put in a back room somewhere by then. But that's fine. If he's still there.
The room he's in is in the back. So, yeah. When we get the shop open, which should be 10 days or so,
amazing.
We'll have him pride a place.
That's exciting news. So, shop's moving over to Fog House next week.
Yeah, end of next. It would be great to be there for our 10th anniversary, which I've totally neglected because of everything else going on. We are 10 next week on the 7th.
Congratulations! That's amazing.
Done more. We have a couple of exclusives coming out, but yeah, we. I feel like a scientist. My social media has fallen off a cliff recently, but yeah, we will be back. There's just a lot of work going on, and by the time you get around to it, it's just like,
yeah, I know.
It's all good.
It is, but yeah, we'll be back on. We'll be firing on all cylinders. I am getting actual real internet plumbed in next week at some point. I was meant to be getting proper good internet, and the engineer came out on Monday and said, "Oh, we need to access the roof. I live in a 2-story apartment. We need to access the roof. We need to close this road because it's like a little one-way road. So we need to put like ladders and hoists on the road, and we need to access the neighbor's property." I'm like, yeah, we can't do all that on a Monday. So massive delay in my internet. So I'm literally just hotspotting off of my phone just now, which actually is better than any other internet I've had up to this point. So hopefully next week, I won't be getting super fast internet anytime soon, but hopefully next week I'll have at least a real internet box thingy that you plug into.
Yeah, and if anyone knows a good plumber who can plumb in Kat's internet,
that would be awesome. I need an internet plumber, please. They're definitely a thing, right? If we can have one of those.
Ian is asking, do we know how many bottles we've sold in 10 years? At the moment, no, but I will.
Shopify.
For next week, I will find it. I'm not sure if that... I'll work it out. We will find it. Good evening, Gibbs. Ian Gibbs? Is it Ian Gibbs? I'm dissecting your name and hopefully getting that right. He says, good evening. Did you guys attend Aberdeen at the weekend? We just had that chat, Ian. We can watch on replay if you like. But some of the guys who are watching did. Unfortunately, I was working and Kat was at the Dornoch Festival with Glengiwi. So Steve. Oh, hello, Stephen. How are you? Didn't recognize the face. It's so small in that little thumbnail. Not your face is so small. It's just a little picture.
Stephen with a notoriously small face. It has reached that time of night, hasn't it, when we are just going to start waffling. I love that John kept saying, "Oh, sorry, I'm waffling." You're like, "Nah, you're totally on brand to me. It's cool."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
he's working it.
It was awesome. What a geek fest that was. It's such a great guest for first week back after a wee unintentional break. Really nice to get back into it. And so nice to see you guys all commenting, chatting to each other, but also getting involved with the with the guest as well. Very, very cool. We've missed my little Blether. It's good to be back.
I have missed it. We've had a house full of in-laws and family and for 10 days now, and it's
Ooh,
wait.
10 days.
Yeah.
Ooh, 10 days of family. Ooh.
I absolutely love them. They're great. But it's intense.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We will Dom, do not get drunk on wine, but whiskey is okay. Oh, that's Dom's catchphrase. Sorry, I'm just reading out loud. Callum is the Dominic pop on his. He did. Ephesians 5:18-21. It's from the Bible. I don't know if you've seen it, if you know it.
The Bible. Yeah, I've heard of it. I didn't know Dom had a catchphrase. Like, that's awesome. Yeah. His Ephesians.
Yeah. So it's do not get drunk with wine, for that is debauchery, but be filled with the Spirit, addressing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody to the Lord with your heart, giving thanks always and for everything to God the Father in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. So basically, it's okay to get drunk on whiskey, but wine is debauchery.
Fill yourself with the Spirit, but don't be debauched by wine. I love that. That might be my new hashtag. We used to have to recite the chapters of the Bible at primary school, but I don't remember going that far into it. That's pretty cool.
It's on page 2.
Would you
not that far in.
Page 2 of the Bible? Okay, well, do you know, once I get the Bible unpacked, I'll give it a wee look. I'll pencil that in. I've got quite an extensive reading list just now, so, I might not get to it anytime soon.
Steve is asking if anyone's excited about the new Adelphi offerings. Very excited. Can't wait to have them in. We are getting them in. There's just been a wee delay. I think we're getting them Monday. I know they're released today, officially, I think. So, yeah.
Cool. No spoilers. Well, there's this boy called Jesus, and I don't think it goes well for him. That's all I'm saying, though. something to do with an iceberg and a large boat. Although I might be getting my stories muddled up. I don't know.
Do we have more hybrid tastings planned? Yes, we do. Ian. Yes, we do. We are speaking to a couple of guys for. We tend not to do much in November, December because a lot of people have their work nights out, and a lot of people kind of have private parties and things like that, and we fill up as well quite a lot with private events. So we have 1 or 2 possibly in the pipeline until the end of the year, but January, February, March is already starting to fill up. So we'll have something on every weekend from there. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you had some big hitters this last weekend. Finn
Thompson was up. Yeah.
Finn Thompson and Stuart Buchanan. That's some sort of, I don't know what you call them, like A-listers.
Absolutely.
That's
great. It
Awesome.
was. And I was there working, Dominic. I was working at both events. I
You
think
haven't
he did ask.
the heart at all. Like, I love how you just breezed over that. For anybody that hasn't been to the Fog House, I would thoroughly recommend it. Honestly, I went in there. It was last weekend that I met you in there. Or the weekend before, can't remember. But it was such a chill vibe, like, because I was waiting for somebody to turn up. So I ordered a coffee, I had my book, sat in the big kind of leather. Was I in the armchair? I don't even remember now. But it was
You
just
were
so
in the
nice.
bucket.
I was in the bucket seat. There was like just a group of girls, like a night out, and they had like a little platter and some soup and some flights of wine, which were the cutest thing I've ever seen. And there's another group of girls on some cocktails, and there was just like a couple of guys in the pints. And it was just like it's just like a nice flowing kind of chill space. I think you've done a really good job. Yeah, anybody that hasn't been to the Fog House, definitely pop and past. It's worthwhile.
Oh, thank you very much.
Not enough taxidermy, but you know, like can't be everything.
No, we need to work on our reviving roadkill techniques to get that going again. We were talking, right, here's something for you. Now, this is right out of left field. You were talking to me, and I can't remember if it was in the shop when you worked there, about an otter being in the freezer.
Yes.
Yes, it was you. It was
yeah.
not in the freezer, because we had this whole conversation with somebody about taxidermy, and I mentioned this, and the more I spoke about it, the more I thought it was maybe a dream that I'd heard this. But, because that's what I dream about, is otters in freezers ready for taxidermy.
Yes. So it was me. And I don't know the legalities of this story because I think you are meant to report dead otters. So I'm not sure I'm going to go into the but yes, that story was me. The death of the otter has nothing to do with us. And I just thought it was so beautiful, like so beautiful. That's the first time I'd seen an otter that close. I was like, it'd be amazing if it could be taxidermied, but it's very expensive to taxidermy, so it wasn't an option. But yeah, I'm not going to go into too many details of that because I think there is a legal ramification around about that story.
Surely it has an expiry date on being picked up on.
Potentially. It was when I lived in Perthshire in Glenlyon.
I mean, don't be more specific, for God's sake.
No, but it's so on theme for this time of year because I listened to a podcast about it today, and Glenlyon is Glenlyon is the longest example of paganism still being kind of worshipped to this day, because every year there's a shrine to the Cailleach, which is the Scottish deity of creation. And every year in Glenlyon, somebody, and nobody knows who, will put out these little stone figures for the Cailleach, because if you don't, you're going to bring in like a bad winter, because she's the bride of winter. And this podcast I was listening to today was talking about it. And yeah, it's the longest example of paganism being kind of, still recognised. Yeah, practice, that's the word I'm looking for.
Cailleach.
In the UK. Cailleach, yes. She is, I love the Cailleach. But yeah, she is like, she's the original pagan. So, and not to offend anybody who is Christian as well, because paganism and Christianity kind of merge a little bit because bits overlap. But the idea of like the three sides of the spirit, the sort of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, was a sort of merging of and replacing all of the Cailleach, which is what used to be the three sides, like the hag, the bride, and the mother. So she was kind of created all the mountains in Scotland. So a lot of mountains are named after the Cailleach. She brought in winter, and then Breed would come in and bring in spring, summer. So some people say it's two different deities, and some say it's two faces of one deity. The Cailleach and Breed are the same. But anyway, Halloween is my vibe. You know, it's my vibe. So yeah, really interesting. I love it.
What are you dressing up as tomorrow?
That's a good question. I mean, I would love to just be the Kaliak, but I'd have to explain it to so many different people. Like, to be honest, like, just
walk
getting out of
around with a
jammies.
mountain on a, I don't know, like half made or something. So I'm just making my mountain, you know.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's just
will get
me. Sprinkle a bit of like snow on it to be like Kaliak folk. I'm a Kaliak. I don't know. I'm still only partially unpacked, so just finding clothing is a bonus just now. So I might just come dressed as me and just be like surprise people. So yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Witch. It has to be a witch. I have to dress up as a witch.
Just get a broom.
Yeah.
You've got the rest. You've got the hair.
I know, exactly right. I'm just 90% there. Dominic, I am not rambling. I'm educating you. And if I sound like your wife, she sounds like a damn fine woman. But I am going to have to find my charger if we are going to keep rambling, because I am down to about 3% battery. So I will probably disappear in a couple of seconds.
All right. Well, we'll take that cue. We'll say goodnight to the guys. We'll let them get fluffed, ready for Roy. If they want to do whatever you guys do, grab a wee break, grab another dram, or go to the toilet, or whatever you do before Aquavite comes on. Because I think he wasn't there last week. I think he had a filling. No. It wasn't Jeff. It was. Remind me who was on last week filling in.
I don't know. See, he's allowed to have a week off without ridicule from everybody in the chat. So, you know.
Very true. Very true. I think he plans it, though. He lets people know that he's not going to be on. Surprise, we're not here.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I'll take that.
We will. Jim, yes.
Wow.
Jim from Ireland was on, and he was talking quite. Yeah, it was a good chat. It's quite. Do you know what? I am envious a little bit of the Aquavite, because they have one guy on and he talks, and there's no lag or there's no interruptions and stuff. But I just miss the banter. I would miss it if it was just me or just you, and I'm sure the guys at home enjoy us talking nonsense, not always whiskey nonsense, but it's educational as well.
It is, definitely. Yeah, I will be back on full form next week, fully interneted up with a fantastic guest and on time. Well, we were on time today. I was on time.
You were on time.
Yeah.
So awesome. Unique is a great word for us, Tim. Thank you so much for that.
You. We'll take that. Oh, Jeremy's going to be on holiday. Well, you can watch us back, Jeremy. Thank you for tuning in. It's so nice to see you all, guys, and thank you for sticking with us and coming back, even though we had a minor delay for a couple of weeks. But we will see you next week. I'm really going to go because I think this internet's going to disappear. I will see you all at some point next week.
Good night. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.